Hey guys, welcome back. So today we'll be adding mixed fractions. So let's look at this example here. We have 2 and 1/3 plus 1 and 5/12. You can solve your problem like this, or you can rewrite your fractions and solve it vertically like we have here. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to add our whole numbers. So I'm going to add my 2 plus my 1. This is going to give me 3. And then now we're going to add our 1/3 plus the 5/12. So here we have 1/3 plus my 5/12. Remember, when you are adding or subtracting your fractions, your denominators must be the same. If your denominators are not the same, then you need to find a common denominator. So as you can see, my denominators, my 3 and my 12, they are not the same. So I do need to find a common denominator. So let's list the multiples of my 3 and then of my 12. So I'm going to do it down here. The multiples of 3, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. And for my 12, the multiples of 12, we have 12, 24, 36, and 48, and I'll stop here for now. The least common multiple that we have between my 3 and my 12 is going to be the number 12. I have a 12 here and a 12 here. So that means I need to get 12 in my denominator so that I can add my fraction. So I'm going to put my 12 here. My new denominator is here. So if I look at my 1/3, the multiples of 3, I'm going to multiply 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to multiply top and bottom here by the number 4 because I know that's what's going to give me 12 in my denominator. Now, if I look at my 12, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 1, just right here. So I just have 1 right there. Or you can just leave this fraction alone as 5/12. So you can just do 5/12 like this and just leave it alone because we already have 12 in my denominator. But just for example's sake, I'm just going to multiply top and bottom by 1. Now we're going to multiply. So we have 1 times 4. This is going to equal 4. And then we have 3 times 4. This is 12. We already have that in my denominator, so that's perfect. Next, we have 5 times 1. This is 5. And then we have 12 times 1 is 12. And we already have that in my denominator, so that's perfect. Now that my denominators are the same, then I can go ahead and add my numerators. I have a 12 here and a 12 here, so that's perfect. 4 plus 5, this is going to equal 9, and this is going to be over 12. So remember, we have the 9/12 goes back to this problem here. So now my fraction here, we added my 2 plus 1, that's 3. If I add 1/3 plus 5/12, I'm going to get 9/12 here as my answer. And if I look at my 9/12, I can simplify because I know the number 3 goes into both. So let's go ahead and simplify our answer. So we're going to get 3 and 3/4 because 9 divided by 3 is going to equal 3, and then 12 divided by 3 is going to equal 4. So this is your final answer here. So let's look at this example here. Notice in this example here that my denominators are the same. So I have a 5 here and I have a 5 here. You can write your fractions horizontally or vertically. So I have 2 plus, you have an imaginary 0 here, plus nothing. This is going to equal 2. And then notice here that your denominators are the same. Since my denominators are the same, I have 1/5 plus 3/5. If my denominators are the same, then I'm just going to go ahead and add my numerators and then put that over 5. So I know 1/5 plus 3/5 is going to equal 4/5. So this is your final answer here. Let's look at this example here. I'm going to rewrite my problem. All right, so I know I can add my whole numbers. We have 5 here and 8 here. So 5 plus 8, this is going to give me 13. And now I'm going to add my 7/9 plus my 4/9. Since my denominators are the same, I have a 9 here and a 9 here, then I can just go ahead and add my numerators. So 7 plus 4, this is going to give me 11, and then that's going to be over 9. So your answer here is going to be 11/9. Now, before you move forward, by looking at this example here, notice we have an improper fraction. This 11/9 is an improper fraction. The number on top is greater than the number on the bottom. So that's what makes it an improper fraction. So we do not want to leave our answer this way. So in order for us to simplify this, I'm going to do my 9 on the outside. My 11 is going to be on the inside. 9 goes into 11 one time. 9 times 1 is 9. 11 minus 9 is going to equal 2. If I turn my 11 over 9 into a mixed number, you're going to get 1 and 2 ninths. Remember, this quotient here is your whole number, which is what we have here. Your 9 is going to be your denominator, and then your remainder here is going to be your numerator. So we have our 13 from the 5 plus 8, and now we have our 11 over 9. We simplified it to this fraction here. So you're going to have 13 plus the 1 and 2 ninths. And now if I add my 13 plus the 1 and 2 ninths, you're going to get 14 and 2 ninths. Let's look at our next example here. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my problem so that we can add. So first thing first, I'm going to go ahead and add my whole numbers. So I have a 2 here plus my 1. This is going to equal 3. And now we're going to add our fractions. We have 3 over 4 plus 3 over 8. So we have 3 over 4 plus 3 over 8. My denominators are not the same, so I need to find a common denominator. I'm going to go down here to list the multiples of my 4 and my 8. For my 4, we have 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. And then for my 8, we have 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40. The least common multiple that we have between these two is going to be the number 8. So I know I need to get 8 in my denominator so that we can add. So I'm going to look at my 4. So we have 1, 2. I'm going to multiply top and bottom here by the number 2. And then if I look at my 8, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by just 1 or just leave it alone. So you can just leave it alone with a 3 over 8 because we already have an 8 in my denominator, or just multiply top and bottom by 1. Now we're going to multiply. So we have 3 times 2, this is 6. 4 times 2 is 8. 3 times 1 is 3. And then 8 times 1 is 8. Now that my denominators are the same, I'm going to go ahead and add my numerators. So 6 plus 3, this is going to equal 9. And this is going to be over 8. So remember, we added our whole numbers here. We got that. And if I add my fractions, I'm going to get 9 over 8 here as my answer. However, remember, this is an example of an improper fraction. The number on top, my 9, is greater than my 8, and that's what makes it an improper fraction. So I do need to simplify this. So let's go ahead now and simplify the 9 over 8. So I'm going to put my 8 on the outside, my 9 on the inside. 8 goes into 9 one time. 8 times 1 is 8. 9 minus 8 is going to equal 1. So your answer here, if you're turning it into a mixed number, is going to be 1 and 1/8. Remember here, we had our 3. We got that. This 9 over 8 here equals 1 and 1/8. And now we're going to combine this. Remember, we add our whole numbers, so 3 plus 1 is going to equal 4, and then you're going to have 1 over 8 here. And this is your final answer here. Let's look at our next example here. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my mixed fractions. And remember, you can solve it horizontally or vertically. So first, I'm going to go ahead and add my 5 plus my 4. This is going to equal 9. Now I'm going to add my 7 over 9 plus the 1 over 3. So we have 7 over 9 here plus my 1 over 3. Since my denominators are not the same, then I need to find a common denominator. So my 9 is here, my 3 is here. We're going to list the multiples for my 9. We have 9, 18, 27, 36. I'll stop here for now. For my 3, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and I'll stop here for now. The least common multiple between the two is going to be the number 9. So that means I need to get 9 in my denominator so that I can add. So looking at my 9, I'm going to multiply top and bottom here by just 1. So this is going to be top and bottom by the number 1. And then for my 3, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to multiply. So we have 7 times 1, this is 7. 9 times 1 is 9. 1 times 3 is 3. And then 3 times 3 is 9. Now that my denominators are the same, I'm going to add my numerators. So 7 plus 3 is going to equal 10, and that's going to be over 9. So my fraction here is going to be 10 over 9. However, again, remember that the 10 over 9 is an example of an improper fraction. So I need to go ahead and simplify this and turn it back into a mixed number as well. So we have my 9 and my 10. 9 goes into 10 one time. 9 times 1 is 9. 10 minus 9 is going to equal 1. So if I turn my 10 over 9 into a mixed number again, I'm going to get 1 and 1/9. So here we have our 9, and then my 10 over 9, which is up here, we just solved that and turned it into a mixed number. So that's going to be plus my 1 and 1/9. So if I add my 9 plus 1, you're going to get 10, and that's going to be in 1/9. So this is going to be your final answer here, or you're going to get this answer here if you simplify. Let's look at this example here. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite. So first I'm going to add my 1 plus my 3. So I have my 1 here plus 3. This is going to equal 4. And now we have 1 over 5 plus 2 over 5. So 1 over 5 plus 2 over 5. Since my denominators are the same, I can just go ahead and add my numerators. So I have 1 plus 2. This is going to equal 3. And then this is going to be over 5. So your answer here is going to be 3 over 5. So since I cannot simplify any further, I do not have any improper fractions here. So this is your final answer here. Let's look at this example here. First, I'm going to add my 14 plus my 12, and this is going to equal 26. And now we're going to add my 3 over 4 plus the 1 over 6. So we did this, the 14 plus the 12, that's 26. And now we're going to add the fractions, the 3 over 4 plus the 1 over 6. So 3 over 4 plus 1 over 6. Remember, my denominators are not the same. Since my denominators are not the same, then I need to find a common denominator. So let's go ahead and list the multiples for my 4 and my 6. My 4, we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And for my 6, we have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. And I'll stop here for now. The least common multiple between the 4 and the 6 is going to be the number 12. So that means we need to get 12 in my denominator so that we can add. All right, so now looking at my 4, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 1, 2, 3, because that's going to give me 12 in my denominator. And for my 6, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 1, 2, because that's what's going to give me 12 in my denominator. Now we're going to multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 2 is 2. And then 6 times 2 is also 12. Now that my denominators are the same, I'm going to add my numerators. So 9 plus 2 is going to equal 11, and that's going to be over 12. So your answer here, the fraction here, when we added 3 over 4 plus 1 over 6 is going to equal 11 over 12. And since I cannot simplify any further, this is your final answer here. 1 1/4 plus 2 1/2. Let's look at this example here. I'm going to rewrite it so that we can see. We're going to add my 1 plus my 2. This is going to equal 3. And then we're going to add my 1 over 4 plus the 1 over 2. So 1 over 4 plus 1 over 2. My denominators are not the same, so I'm going to find a common denominator. Let's list the multiples for my 4 and 2. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And then for my 2, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and I'll stop here for now. Now we're going to find the least common denominator, and that's going to be the number 4. So I have a 4 here and a 4 here. So that means I need to get 4 in my denominator so that we can add. So if I look at my 4, I'm going to multiply top and bottom here by the number 1. So times 1 here, times 1 here. And for my 2, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 1, 2. So times 2 here, times 2 here. Now we're going to multiply. So 1 times 1, this is going to equal 1. 4 times 1 is 4. We got that. 1 times 2 is going to equal 2. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Now that my denominators are the same, then I'm going to go ahead and add my numerator. So 1 plus 2 is going to equal 3, and that's going to be over 4. So 1 over 4 plus 1 over 2 is going to equal 3 over 4, and this is your final answer here. Let's look at this example here. So we have my 2 plus my 3. This is going to equal 5. And then we have 1 over 7 plus my 2 over 7. So 1 over 7 plus 2 over 7. My denominators are the same. So since my denominators are the same, which is 7, then I can go ahead and add my numerators. So my 1 plus 2 is going to equal 3, and that's going to be over 7. So your answer here, my 1 over 7 plus 2 over 7 is going to equal 3 over 7. And this is your final answer here. I cannot simplify any further. I do not have any improper fractions, so this is your final answer here. Remember, you can add horizontally if you like doing it this way. So if you do your 2 plus 3, this is going to equal 5. And then your 1 over 7 plus your 2 over 7. So here, you add that, that's going to be the 3 over 7. Let's look at 4 and 3/4 plus 5 and 1/3. All right, so first I'm going to add my 4 plus my 5. This is going to equal 9. And then I'm going to add my 3 over 4 plus the 1 over 3. So 3 over 4 here plus my 1 over 3. My denominators are not the same. So that means I need to find a common denominator. So let's go ahead and list the multiples for my 4 and my 3. So 4, we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And my 3, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and I'll stop here for now. The least common multiple between the 4 and the 3 is going to be the number 12. So that means I need to get 12 in my denominator so that I can add. So look at my 4. I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 1, 2, 3. Multiply top and bottom by 3. And then for my 3, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to multiply. So we have 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. And then 1 times 4 is 4. And then 3 times 4 is 12. Now that my denominators are the same, I'm going to go ahead and add my numerators. So 9 plus 4, this is going to give me 13. And that's going to be over 12. So your answer here is 13 over 12. And remember, because I have my numerator is larger than my denominator, the 13 over 12, that means I have an improper fraction. So we do need to convert this back into a mixed number. So I have my 12 here, 13 here. 12 goes into 13 one time. 12 times 1 is 12. 13 minus 12 is going to equal 1. So your mixed number is going to be 1 and 1/12. So 13 over 12 here equals 1 and 1/12. So your answer here, we have our 9, which we already have here, plus the 1 and 1/12 is what our answer was for my 13 over 12. So now I'm going to add. So we have 9 plus 1, this is going to equal 10. And then plus your 1/12, that's going to be 10 and 1/12. So these are your final answers here. Let's look at this example here. First, we're going to add my 4 plus my 2. This is going to equal 6. And now we're going to add my 2 over 3 plus the 1 over 3. So we have 2 over 3 plus my 1 over 3. Since my denominators are the same, I'm going to go ahead and just add my numerators. So 2 plus 1 is going to equal 3, and that's going to be over 3. So my fraction here, your answer is going to be 3 over 3. But remember, 3 over 3, if you simplify that, that's going to equal 1. So this 3 over 3 is going to equal 1, which is what we have here. So if my 3 over 3 equals 1, I'm going to get 6 plus 1, and this is going to equal 7. So your final answer here for this example is going to equal 7. And if you solve this example the horizontal way, remember you have 4 plus 2, this is 6. And then you have 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3. This is going to equal 3 over 3. 3 over 3 equals 1. So you have 6 plus 1. This is going to equal 7. Let's look at this example here. So first I'm going to add my 6 plus my 4. This is going to give me 10. And then I'm going to add 2 over 11 plus 5 over 11. So we have 2 over 11 here plus 5 over 11. Since my denominators are the same, which are 11, then I'm going to go ahead and add my numerator. So 2 plus 5 is going to equal 7, and that's going to be over 11. So your answer here, the 2 over 11 plus my 5 over 11 is going to equal 7 over 11. Since I cannot simplify any further, I do not have any improper fractions, so this is your final answer here. Let's look at one more example. So we have my 3 plus my 2. I'm going to go ahead and add that. That's going to give me 5. And now we're going to add my 1 over 9 plus my 3 over 9. So 1 over 9 plus my 3 over 9. Since my denominators are the same, then I'm going to go ahead and add my numerators. So 1 plus 3 is going to equal 4, and that's going to be over 9. So your answer here, 1 over 9 plus my 3 over 9, this is going to give me 4 over 9. So since I cannot simplify any further, this is your final answer here. All right, so that is all for today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.